Ready to roll? All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We're here on Campus Drive in J-Town, where, as you can see behind us, here in our city, suffered some of the most significant damage. Start with the good news. The good news is that we are unaware of any injuries that are the result of the storm last night. And so we are very fortunate that when the storm came through and when these strong damaging winds came through, none of these areas behind us or some of the other areas of damage that we're seeing today, nobody was hurt. So that is the good news. But of course, many businesses, homes suffered very significant damage in and around the J-Town and Middletown area. We're joined today by the mayor of J-Town, Carol Pike, the mayor of Middletown, Madam Chapman, their police departments, Anchorage Middletown Fire Department, as well as Louisville Metro Government's Emergency Management Agency. You'll hear from several of those here shortly after I give a brief overview of what we know today, right now, and what we're expecting over the coming days. First, in terms of what happened last night, there is no official confirmation yet on whether a tornado touched down or not from the National Weather Service that I'm aware of yet. We will get that information out as soon as we have confirmation on what exactly happened from a weather perspective. But regardless of what you call it, as you can tell, we sustained some very significant damage in and around the J-Town area. Several businesses, such as this wood veneer business behind us, a daycare and education school behind this building, were very seriously damaged with suffering significant losses. Homes nearby in the Copperfield subdivision, in the reserve at Beckley Creek and surrounding neighborhoods, homes were also damaged as well. Again, most of the damage in Louisville centers in and around the J-Town and Middletown areas. I have signed and then declared a state of emergency for all of Jefferson County for the damage that has happened overnight, and also given the expectation of very significant rainfall that we expect to start soon and to continue off and on in the coming days through this weekend, which puts us at the risk of very significant flooding. We have teams on the ground from Louisville Metro Government that are doing damage assessments right now. We're on the ground doing that damage assessment, as well as using drones when necessary in the area. As a precautionary measure, MSD is installing 2 floodgates as we speak, one at 10th Street in the river and the other at 27th Street. The Ohio River is expected to rise over the coming days. Cresting is expected between Friday and Sunday. And so we're putting in those floodgates as a precautionary measure, and we'll continue to provide information on what to expect with that crest as we get more information, depending on what rain happens here as well as upriver as well. And that's the critically important thing, is that we're not out of the woods yet. We are expecting very significant rainfall over the coming days. And so just a few words of precaution to the entire community who clearly has been listening. And I want to thank everyone who is listening, who is taking this weather event seriously. And the good news, again, is that there were no serious injuries, which we hope to continue to be the case throughout the coming days as the rain continues to come. Beware of any water. If you see water in the street, do not try to drive through it. Turn around. Don't drown. You don't know how deep it is. You don't know the limits of your vehicle. So please turn around. If you see down power lines, there are still some down power lines throughout the county as well. If you see down power lines, do not touch, get away. And please call 311, whether it's a down power line or other damage. Please call 311 to report any damage. Also, if you have sustained damage yourself at your home or your business, please also call 311. We have with us in Louisville already representatives from FEMA, the Federal Emergency Response Agency. They're in town, and with me declaring a state of emergency, along with what Governor Beshear has done, we are hoping that individuals will be will qualify for individual assessments. We're still working through that with FEMA. And so if you call 311 to register your name and property on the list, just as we did for the residents that were impacted in Fairdale earlier this week. This has been a very challenging week weather-wise for us here in Louisville as some residents in Fairdale continue to recover. And in terms of the other thing that individuals can do is sign up for Lens Alert. We have, Jody, 70,000 people? Yes, sir. It's over 70,000 people that have already signed up for Lens Alert. I want to encourage everyone. If you text 67283, again, if you text 67283, you can sign up for a free service called Lens Alert, which provides you with real-time warnings, just as we're issued early this morning, the middle of the night, depending on how you look at it, to make sure that you and your family can remain safe, whether it's a severe weather event or otherwise. And so please continue to heed those warnings. You can continue to follow along on our social media channels for all the latest information that we have. Before I turn it over to others that are working on response, I just want to give a giant thanks once again to all of our first responders, all the police departments, fire departments, emergency medical services, the 911 dispatchers, every other first responder that stayed up through the night for last night's severe weather, that is working through the day today to get everyone back on their feet, to help buildings get repaired, and to continue to get to make sure streets are cleared, to make sure we get down trees cleared away. There are so many things that public servants are doing across the entire city, and I just want to say thanks to all of them. So next, I'm going to introduce Jody Myman, the director of our emergency management agencies, and he'll be followed by J-Town Mayor Carol Pike. Jody.
Thank you, Mayor. The Mayor covered a lot of ground on what he said there. Some of the things to emphasize: we started a 24-hour operational period this morning, beginning damage assessments through the area. We asked the public's patience. This is a long, tedious process, especially with the incoming weather. When we focus on preparedness, response, and recovery, and this is a unique situation over the next several days because we're recovering from incidents like this, but we're also preparing and responding to other weather emergencies that are going to occur over the next 3 to 4 days. So, we ask your patience. It's imperative that if you have damage, you call 311 so that it can get in our database. We can send out damage assessment teams to your area so that we can get it in the state database. We're working with state emergency management on, again, asking, like we did for Fairdale, for individual assistance and other assistance that could be a potential, for residents throughout the area that were affected by these storms. One big important thing is you can see there's a lot of debris around. It's going to be, could be problematic with all the rain that we're getting, that the debris that's out there, whether it's on somebody's public, in their public yard or in a street right away or wherever it is, that they don't hamper or clog drains to keep rain from flowing like they normally should flow. So you can either call MSD to come out to assist with unclogging areas, or if you think it's safe, there's no water in the area, you can go ahead and try to do that yourself. So just make sure that you're keeping safe. Daylight brings out a lot of things. Even since the sun came up this morning, we were looking at a lot of wires down that people were noticing. So like the mayor said, that's a big safety issue. If you find a down power line, don't touch a fence in the area. Call LG&E, call 911 if you think it's an immediate issue to life and health and safety. So, but like I said, we're out here. We're working in 24-hour operational periods, but it is going to be a slow, tedious process because of the weather that's incoming. So, but we'll be here for the community, the city of J-Town, Middletown, and all the surrounding areas that were affected by the storm.
Thank you. I want to say that Jeffersontown has been devastated. We have many, many buildings that have been totally destroyed, but I can say that we are lucky because no one has lost any lives or had any injury here. I also want to thank all the people who stood up. This was a perfect storm. The perfect storm being that it was spring break. And all my people that normally were in place for my command staff for emergencies were gone. And I've had people step up to the plate that I never thought, we didn't think we were going to have to handle anything like this. I wanted to thank my Major Walker, and also Joy Crum, standing in for the chief at our firehouse. I don't know what I would have done without them in Public Works. And then this morning, all the city of Louisville has called me, and I cannot thank Mayor Greenberg and his staff for all that they have offered, and they are here behind us to help Jeffersontown regain and be what we once were, and we will survive this. And I just want to tell them how much I appreciate everything that they're doing for our city. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor Pike. And before we take questions from members of the media, I'm also going to introduce Sal Melendez. Sal is the Public Information Officer for the Anchorage Middletown Fire Department, who were some of the first responders early this morning when the storm came through town. Sal?
Good afternoon. Just to echo the mayor's message, we're very grateful to report that no injuries were sustained to firefighters or residents in the impacted areas. Anchorage Middletown Fire and EMS Command Operations Center, thank you, was activated right before midnight last night, and our first call for service coming in shortly after midnight. Our crews responded to a number of 23 calls for service. We had several areas impacted, several neighborhoods impacted. Like I said, no injuries, and our crews immediately deployed to conduct search and rescue operations and securing utilities. We had a total of 60 personnel working from midnight until 3 this morning. So with our heaviest areas of damage being stable gate apartments with approximately 124 units receiving significant, moderate to significant damage. Locust Point Place, the Copperfield neighborhood, and Beckley Hills Reserve, the reserve at Beckley Hills Station. Those two combined are the areas where the most significant damage was sustained, at adding up to over 30 homes with significant damage. One of the things that we want to remark is that Anchorage Middletown crews have been monitoring the situation, as everyone was. Again, we had been preparing for events like these. And again, we're happy to report that as the calls came in, we didn't find any injuries. And so we focused our efforts in securing those utilities that, could be harmful. And while I'm here, as Director Myman may have addressed, watch out for down power lines. That's some of the issues that we're going to be dealing with and responding to calls like that. So we ask our residents to be aware of those. Do not come in any contact with any power lines. And obviously, with any loss of power comes the use of generators. Know all the safety precautions that go with using such equipment. So again, grateful to report that no injuries were sustained. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Sal. And with that, we're happy to answer any questions from members of the media.
Mayor, with all the rain expected, I know you guys are now also in cleanup and preparation modes. In recent heavy rainfall events, we've been seeing a lot of people driving through those roads, those viaducts that we have all around our community that tend to kind of fill up quickly in those heavy rains. And we are concerned that people sometimes just do not hear us or heed that warning. Turn around, don't drown. So I think it'd be helpful to kind of reiterate that for the community.
Thanks. The question was about the significant rainfall that we're expecting and what is our advice to folks that are driving on the roads. And as you said, when you see water on the roadway, turn around. Don't drown. Life is too short. There are many other ways to get to wherever you're going in Louisville. Err on the side of caution. Be safe. You don't know how deep the water is that you see ahead of you. You don't know the capabilities of your vehicle. So please do not drive through standing water. We have some very low-lying areas in all different parts of the city. And so please just use caution. And particularly if you're in an area of the neighborhood that you don't know well, but even if it's your own neighborhood and you feel like, oh, you can get through it, don't take the risk. Turn around. Don't try to drive through standing water.
I guess reiterate some of the debris, obviously with flooding coming in, that could just sort of, or with rain coming in, that can make the flooding situation worse.
Yeah.
Can you reiterate what you want people at homes who just have stuff from all homes all around them just scattered everywhere?
So the question was about debris removal and what can people do who are at homes. There are several things. If you have debris at your home or your place of business, a property that you own, there are several things. One very helpful thing would be if you see debris that's clogging up any drains near and around your home, please remove that debris so that when it continues to rain, the water can get into the drain and get away. That once we get the water into the storm drainage system, that's incredibly helpful to clear out flooding from area and to prevent flooding from happening. We are going to have debris drop-off sites. We're working on that right now, and depending on the weather, we want to do it when people can do that safely. We don't want to encourage people to be moving their debris from their yards during severe weather, and so we're working on drop-up sites that will be across the entire city as well, and we'll get that information out shortly. And then also, one other thing to add is beware of scams. When storms like this come through, people flock to these areas. Most of them are there for the right reason. They're looking to help. They're in the business of helping people recover. But also beware. Be sure before you do anything, contact your insurance company. Be sure you're filing the proper procedures. If something sounds too good to be true, or if you're not sure whether something is real or a scam, take a minute. Nothing's going to change in a half an hour before you pay for something or sign on the dotted line. Have somebody else review a decision that you might need to make as well. And so try to be aware of that. Unfortunately, there are some people that prey on individuals that have been impacted by severe weather damage like we're seeing here in our city.
I know you said you expect the river to crest sometime between Friday and Sunday. We got thunder, obviously, the following week. Compare it to past years. What is your team preparing for as far as how bad it can get compared to past years?
So we're working, the question was about thunder over Louisville, which is a week from Saturday. We are working very closely with the Kentucky Derby Festival throughout the days, every day, leading up to Thunder and all of the Derby Festival events. Right now, we expect Thunder to go on. We will certainly take every safety precaution, and depending on what happens with the river will impact how close to the river people can get on the Great Lawn. There might be some other impacts. Right now, though, we expect Thunder to go on, and we'll continue to monitor it and provide updates.
Because the storm was overnight, because in the business park companies, probably no one inside at the time. These particular buildings were hit that we know of.
The question was about, was anyone inside these buildings? To our knowledge, nobody was inside these buildings at the time, and that's one of the reasons that I said we are very fortunate no one was injured. We have a wood veneer business that's been here for many, many years. That's active every day. Nobody was here. Their business has been ruined. Their roof is gone. Their product is wood, and when the wood gets wet, it's ruined. And you can see right now into their business how their business has been impacted. And just behind where we're speaking is a child care facility. You can see that is devastated. The roof is gone, the back wall is gone, all of the toys are thrown everywhere around the building, and we are very fortunate that this happened in the middle of the night and not at noon when kids would have been in the building.
Perhaps for Anchorage fire, we have the apartment complex down the street that was affected. Could we describe what it was like for crews when they arrived, and what kind of situations they were seeing for those impacted at the stables?
Sure. I'll introduce Major Taylor. He was actually boots on the ground conducting operations last night. So, did you hear the question?
Yes.
Got it.
So the question was what it was like at the time with Stablegate Apartments. We received a phone call approximately just after midnight that there was damage done with an alarm sounding. First unit on scene got a report of a potential rescue. Therefore, we dispatched additional units. We had 6 units respond to the areas. We had 124 apartments affected to start our assessment and get a count to see if we had a viable rescue. Fortunately, there was no rescue that was needed. All residents were safe and sound, no injuries. Stablegate Apartments maintenance came over, took control, got them into the clubhouse. We were able to clear everything, assess the damage, and then move on to the other neighborhoods at the time.
Can you describe the damage that you saw?
A lot of roof damage, damage to the siding, windows blowing out. A lot of cars had been moved around, windows blowing out of the vehicles, stuff like that. And then other neighborhoods that were affected, Copperfield and the Reserve at Beckley Station. A lot of roof damage, siding damage, windows, stuff like that.
Does it appear that any damage was severe enough in any of those locations that some people may be displaced for some time?
Yes, definitely.
With that being said, are you just perhaps surprised that there were no injuries, especially in that situation?
Yeah, I'd say surprised is a good word, but very fortunate. Nice thing is everybody was prepared, everybody worked together, and it was nice seeing neighbor help neighbor during those things. So those that were affected were brought in by neighbors and stuff to make sure they were being taken care of.
And Stephanie had a question.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's being reported the National Weather Service in Louisville has no plans to come out and assess tornado damage today, largely because of the cuts. Can you speak to how those cuts may impact, especially assessments this week? And do you know whether or not that is whether the National Weather Service will be out?
The question was about there's word that the National Weather Service may not be out here to assess whether this was in fact a tornado as a result of some cuts that were made at the federal level. And what is my response to that? We rely heavily on our federal partners, particularly during severe weather events like this. We rely on the National Weather Service for their accurate and very helpful forecasts so that we can prepare for situations like this, that people could be safe when events like this come through. And then we rely on the federal government after severe weather events, organizations like agencies like FEMA to help us individuals get back on their feet, to help businesses recover, to help people get to repair their homes, to get back into their homes. And so we are very hopeful that we will continue to have the full cooperation and support of all federal agencies, the National Weather Service, FEMA, and others. And we're hopeful that regardless of any cuts that have been made, that the resources are available in terms of people and dollars to help us right here in Louisville, Kentucky.
Mayor, do you have a message of comfort for the community after these back-to-back weather events?
Yeah, it's been a tough week for Louisville. Neighbors in Fairdale that were impacted by that tornado that came through earlier this week. And then, of course, here in J-Town and Middletown, what happened overnight. One of the things that strikes me is, as you just heard talking about, was neighbor helping neighbor. How people in times of crisis and challenges rise up to help other people, whether it's to lend a helping hand, as I just saw back here, where this business owner had some friends who were helping him salvage what might remain of any not destroyed material that he had in his warehouse, to providing places to stay for friends or family members that have been displaced. The list goes on and on of how you see people here in Louisville extending that helping hand, extending support to one another. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so proud to be a Louisvillian, and we continue to extend that hospitality to others that we care about time and time again. Thank you all very much. We'll continue to keep you all up to date with information as it comes. And remember, call 311 if you have damage. Stay safe. Don't drive through water. And continue to be aware and sign up for Lens Alert if you don't have it. Thank you all very much.
Sir, from FEMA, could you say and spell your first last name?
Me?
Yes, sir.
I'm not from FEMA.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jody
He
Gill.
doesn't get out.
I know.
You're just missing an F on the head. That's it.
Yes.
Thanks for hanging out.